Luke Roberts, Nolan Sarquette, Owen Gibbs d'Avignon, Dylan Dial, Matthew Frick, who was part of that DMR championship winning team from Louisville Extreme. Look out for him there with hip number 8. We've still got a lot to go, though. 12 guys coming at you. Luca Altobello, Jason Sarnicola, Nolan Daly, Ayan Serrani, Cameron Pright, Michael Gemma, Noel Matta, Trevor George, Hayden Mouse, Walker Mason, Brooks Wrzolanski, and Nathan Downey. Your full field of 20 already through over 200 meters. 218 if you want to count those initial 18 from the start line. A full 2 miles here at Adidas Track Nationals. Our early leader is Luca Altobello. Looked like there was a little bit of contact on the inside of that group, but everybody's still upright. Altobello. Who's also scheduled to come back for the mile. He's a real versatile player to watch. Ran a 1,600 meters in sub 4:20 at the Marshall University High School indoor meet. Altobello comes from Kaiser, West Virginia, and has had just a really great campaign from the Mountain State in the heart of the Appalachians. He was second in the 3A cross-country state championship back in the fall, and has even had some good finishes on the track as well. He was second in the 1,600 meters outdoor and the 3,200 meters as well. A 9:29.28 runner at his best over this distance. So Luca Altobello has the lead. Looking to see just who can follow him down this back straightaway. Tucked right in second, you see hip number 16. That is none other than Trevor George, running unattached today. Trevor is expected to also run in the 800, so a pretty interesting double, a 2 mile and an 800. Trevor's on the cusp of sub 9:30 as well, as he's run a 9:34.67. Another West Virginian is Trevor George. He comes from Elkins WV. So Kaiser versus Elkins, running 1 and 2. These guys very familiar with one another, as you can reckon. We talked about that 9:34.67 as Trevor George's outdoor PR, our second place runner. Well, he's even run a 9:32.60, make that 73 in cross country. They came through well below 3 minutes at the 1K split, so even with all these guys still together, it looks like it could be a tactical race in some respects, but it is fast. So it's the 2 West Virginians out front. The rest of the field trying to position themselves behind. In third place, a nice move up through the pack by Dylan Dial. We're expected to see him coming back with a mile as well. So a lot of first round matchups for a lot of these gentlemen. Dylan coming from Cabell Midland from guess what state? West Virginia. It is West Virginia. 1, 2, 3. Somebody get Country Roads on the loudspeaker. Dial still in third, but we just had our first lead change, as there went Trevor George, just passing up his fellow West Virginian into the lead. He passed up Luca Altobello, who's still in second. You've still got Dial there in third. It looks like Nolan Daly is on the inside in fourth. Next time by will be the mile split. And we've still got a lot of the field in it, not just the West Virginians. There are other states represented here after all. 47 in total here at Adidas Track Nationals. Now it is Cameron Pright of Jefferson Forest, the Virginian. He is up into the top 4, rocking the shades on the inside, a la Simeon Birnbaum. I remember that's the exact same comparison I gave him back at VA Showcase. So nice to see that the more things change, the more they stay the same, as Luca Altobello and company keep that pace hot and honest. There goes Dylan Dial, dialing it up past the mile mark. They came through at 4:47, so they let the pace dwindle a little bit and they're going to need to negative split it in order to get the national title. Dial is really extending the gap now. We talk about some of his fellow West Virginians that he's going up against. Trevor George, the man whom you see in third, he's won a cross-country state title before in West Virginia. We already talked about the 2 runner-up finishes of the man in second now, that being Luca Altabello. But Dylan Dial has been racing these guys as well all throughout state season. As for what he did, he was 6th at cross-country states over 4A, so they may compete in different classes, but still likely very familiar with each other's abilities. And crazy enough, you got Dylan Dial as probably the fastest 2-miler that we've mentioned thus far. He's got a 9:25.57 ER, and he's got the lead into the final 6 laps. And right on his rear, you've got hip number 6, Owen Gibbs Davignon in second. Let's see if he can close things down. He's running on the outside of Altabello, and also moving up with the Sea Vikings kit. That is Jason Sarnicola from St. Joe by the Sea in Staten Island. He's been working his way up through the field. At the mile mark, he was all the way back in 11th. The man you see in third, Sarnicola, whose teammates took home the national title in the 4x8 last year at Nike. Seems like they've really built a consistent unit of sub-8 quartets over the 4x8. But you talk about great quartets, you cannot forget about the national champion from the DMR, Matthew Frick of Louisville Extreme, up into 4th from Kentucky. Dial. And it's Davignon in second, Sarnicola in third, Frick in 4th. Coming into the final 800 meters, let's see what they need for a national title. It's a 7:12, so they're going to need to close in around a 2:20, if not sub 2:20. That is 35s per go-around. Let's check out Owen Gibbs Davignon and his track record leading up to nationals. He comes from Trinity College School in Port Hope, Ontario. So we've got a Canadian in the mix trying to steal this national title. He's being buried back in 4th, though, as Frick moves up into 3rd. Davignon following him, though. This race is not over as they're into the final 600 meters. Matthew Frick, who ran the 1,200-meter leg, is at complete control, but not without opposition. Davignon in second, Sarnicola up into 3rd, and then Dial from West Virginia in 4th. Dylan Dial, who really made this pace an honest one after the first mile went out a little pedestrian in 4:47. They have turned on the jets and are going to get ready to take the final 400-meter split. What will they need, folks? It looks like they're just a little bit behind the ghosts of our leader from heat number 3, Calhoun Kaysen from Corpus Christi, Texas, watching on with anticipation. He wants to see if the national title will remain in his grasp as he sees these gentlemen start to kick it into their next gears every step quicker than the previous. Who is going to have the right timing and speed at the end? Matthew Frick. Now Owen Gibbs Davignon, the Canadian, hits the front. 8:57 on the clock. He's just got to break 35 on this last lap. Dylan Dial trying to move around Sarnicola in the battle for 3rd, but only Matthew Frick remains to challenge Owen Gibbs Davignon from Port Hope, Ontario. Could we have our first Canadian coronation of the weekend here at Adidas? All it's going to take is a 9:32 from here, and Owen Gibbs Davignon says, "Bienvenue, welcome to Virginia Beach. Welcome home, your champion, Owen Gibbs Davignon, 9:29.27. What a way to get it done. There were many points in that last 800 where he looked vulnerable, where the others looked like they were making confident moves of their own. But he just had a little bit extra kick in him to parry all oppositions. Owen Gibbs Davignon having to be helped back to his feet And you'll have a nice friendly visit with the garbage can post-race. Nice high five with Matthew Frick, who will come through for the silver medal at 9:31.02. But looking at the rest of those times, Sarnicola and Dial ultimately went to Dylan Dial, but his 9:33.88 will place him fourth, as that 9:32.15 for Calhoun Kaysen will uphold as the bronze medal, just as we foreshadowed a great National Elite Boys 2-mile race. And now we return to the infield. We have our first final of day 2, and it is the freshman boys 60-meter hurdles, featuring the top 8 qualifiers from yesterday's preliminaries. In lane number 1 from Oscar Smith Track Club, Diosic Burney. In lane number 2, running unattached, Nicholas Robinson. In lane 3 from Ridgeview Track and Field, Julian Hill. In lane 4, our fastest qualifier from Great Esteem Track Club is Jemai Jarrett McKenzie. Look out for him in the middle. Zayden Canfield of Peninsula Elite. We one on his outside in 5. Lane 6, Khalik Zahir of Gladiator Track Club. Lane 7, Jake Mason of Top Speed Track Club. In lane 8, he just made it in as the last qualifier. We mentioned this earlier. He's representing Junior Highlanders Track Club, Jonathan Andrade from New Jersey. Well, just earlier this week, he celebrated his birthday, and now he's a national finalist. How will he make of his opportunity here? Freshman meet record, Marcus Pittman Jr.'s 8:52 from last year. And as for some of the times that we sought to qualify for this freshman finals, Jemai Jarrett McKenzie already broke that meet record at 8:44. That is the mark he's looking to beat again. Only Hill and Canfield broke 9 seconds with him. The final of the boys' 60-meter hurdles. Freshmen will have to be put on temporary hold, as it looked like Jemai Jarrett McKenzie had a little unsteadiness with his blocks, and so they'll allow the athletes to stand up. Doesn't look like there will be any DQs here, but just to give you a sense of Jemai and his background, the man you see in 4, he comes from Leander, Texas. We've been raving about the Leander Spartans, but they're not the only ones coming from that particular district. Oh no! It was just him having to steady his blocks, don't worry. I saw him reaching to pick them up. I had my heart drop there for a second, but don't worry. Jemai Jarrett McKenzie, our meet record setter from the prelims, will be good to try again. I figured that was the issue as to why he stood up. He felt a little unsteadiness and just had to fasten them into the ground. Again, each set of spikes has a back pair, rather of blocks has a back pair of spikes to allow them to really nail them into the ground without needing a block holder like you'll see at outdoor dual meets. So the freshman boys final, ready for take number 2 underway. Watch for 8:44, the meet record. A little bit closer in the early stages, but it's Jemai Jarrett McKenzie who will separate. Julian Hill in for second. We're going to see if they both broke 9 seconds again, and they did. Jarrett McKenzie, meet record 8:42. And look at that for Hill, 8:69. Robinson and Zahir, 4 guys beneath the 9-second barrier. And even Zayden Canfield right at 9, flat for 5th. But Jemai Jarrett McKenzie from Leander, Texas, delivers yet another win to the Lone Star State. Calhoun Kaysen was 3rd in the National Elite 2-mile just moments ago. But make no mistake, Texas has got its winner. Jemai Jarrett McKenzie, the first of the day. Meet record, baby. That was awesome. And so now we move things on to our championship girls semifinals, rather. We're going to run the boys. It looks like I see the fellas out there first. And so They're likely going to keep the hurdles at that setting and run the boys' championship semifinals. They had the girls initially on schedule, but they're going to reverse order to allow the meet to get back on schedule. And so we will have 2 heats of our championship 60-meter hurdles semifinals. There will be some big cues administered here. The top 2 from each heat plus the next 4 will advance to tomorrow's final. So, in lane number 1, we have Asias Tulloch from Gonzaga College. Lane 2, Brian Hope Jr. from the Carolina Trackhawks. Lane 3, Kellen Kruger, who had a great run on his prelim yesterday. He's in 3. Alex Dunn, competing unattached, is in 4. The Virginian, who won the Class 3 indoor state titles in the 55 and the 55 hurdles. He is in 4. You've got lane number 5, Josiah Gibbons of Williamstown, then Justin White of Page, Jeremiah Faison of Carolina Flight Club, and Roderick Orr. It's close, but it's going to go to Alex Dunn, who got that second qualifier. Alex Dunn, 786 to start things off nicely. And Jeremiah Faison, we talked about him as the emerging national elite champion from last year. He's on to the national championship finals this year. And Josiah Gibbons and Justin White will join them both beneath that 8-second barrier in the boys' 60-meter hurdles. Looking at our first round yesterday on the championship side of things, on the boys' side, of course, just refreshing your memory as to our fastest qualifiers, Cyrus Saunders ran a 790. Alex Dunn was there at 794 for second, and only 2 other guys had broken 8 seconds, Josiah Gibbons and Courier Richardson. We just saw 4 guys in the first semifinal do that, matching what they've done in the prelims, including some that didn't even do it in the prelims. So there you go. Let's check out section number 2. As for right now, our 4th fastest non-auto qualifier is Brian Hope Jr.'s 808. And on the line, we've got Langston Grice of Grimsley, Jaleel Dickerson Dempsey, Dakari Curtis of True Speed Elite, another Virginia State champion in here. Cyrus Saunders, our fastest preliminary qualifier, and Pennsylvania State runner-up from Neshaminy. He's in 4. Courier Richardson of Churchland Track Club is in 5. Jaleel Griffin of the Durham Striders, North Carolina State champ in his own right, in 6. Xavier Williams at BDP Track Club in 7, and then Ben Altenberg on the outside in 8. Long hold in their blocks. Top 2 go through automatically. They're underway, moving quickly. It's going to be close for those top 2 spots. Racing each other through the line. They will both effectively win. Cyrus Saunders goes 781 to become your new fastest qualifier heading into the finals. Courier Richardson joins him with Dakari Curtis in 3rd, just outside of the bubble by 1/100th of a second. Curtis has to miss out. A tough break for Dakari Curtis of True Speed Elite. And even Jaleel Griffin, a guy who we mentioned literally won the AA North Carolina State Championship. He's going to have to settle for 11th here in these semifinals. So that just goes to show you the brutal nature of track and field as a sport. Unforgiving are the numbers, but that's just how the ball bounces sometimes. So we're going to see just who could shine the brightest in the finals tomorrow. Again, your top 4 heat winners: Cyrus Saunders, Alex Dunn, Courier Richardson, and Jeremiah Faison. And your 4 non-auto qualifiers: Josiah Gibbons, Justin White, Asias Tulloch, and the Bubble Man, Brian Hope Jr. Let's move on to the girls in the championship 60-meter hurdles. They are adjusting the barriers down from 39 inches to 33. In this first of 2 heats, we've got Layla Firstner of Largo, Selah Edwards of Run U Express, London King of Panthers Elite, Deanna Cotton, the future South Carolina Gamecock from Durham Striders in 4. One of the best overall athletes out of North Carolina in her own right. She's there. Was second in the triple jump yesterday. Soleil Russell of Bullis School, the younger sister of Masai Russell, one of the best in the country all season long. She's there in 5. Audrina Chu of Team War from nearby Nansemond River in 6. Alejandra Williams of MD Jaguar 7. And Carrington Johnson of Intensity Athletics on the outside in 8. Semifinal number 1 of 2. Top 2 automatically go through, and look at Soleil Russell. Showing hurdling is in her DNA. She doesn't even need to lean at the line to secure that auto cue. Comfortable running by Soleil Russell within a tenth of her recently set 8:49 PR. She goes 8:59 to take the win with Deanna Cotton in tow. Having a look at our 60-meter hurdle national rankings against Soleil Russell, with her 8.49 is right there among the tip tops in the US of A. She ranks as number 20 in the country. And even an 8:59 would place her tied for 36. So just going to show you about the company she's in. And you could argue that her biggest competition will come from her teammate in this second heat. Let's meet the full field before we specify. We begin with Honesty Trollinger of Durham Striders in 1. Maya Wells of Mae Jemison. We observed her earlier. She's an Alabama state champion 3 times over. Won the indoor 60 and 60-meter hurdles. Comes in with a PR of 8:74, does Wells. And she even won the 100-meter hurdles outdoors in AL. So look out for her in 2. Adriana Haynes of Middle Georgia Blaze in 3. Cassidy Hopkins of Bullis School, our U.S. number 3 VA Showcase champion, 8:19 personal bests. Didn't advance out of the semifinals at New Balance, looking to make the national final this time around at Adidas. Jenna Marie Thomas, the reigning 4th place finisher from Spire Academy. She's in 5. Jennifer Rawls of Shaker Heights in 6. Michaela Andrade of Chiefs in 7. And Fumalola Ayoku of Springbrook in 8. Remember, the meet record is an 8:31. We've seen Cassidy Hopkins best that multiple times. And the senior from Bullis School comes through the line to secure the auto qualifier. Right behind her was Adriana Haynes of Middle Georgia Blaze. Hopkins, your fastest qualifier at 8.40, will look to secure her first high school national individual title in the final tomorrow. Adriana Haynes of Middle Georgia Blaze goes 8:65 for second. Wells hits a new PR in 3rd at 8:71, with Jenna Marie Thomas making yet another final to feature Kentucky Wildcat in 4th in that section. And that will make Audrina Chu your bubbler. So it's Chu, Thomas, Wells, Selah Edwards, Deanna Cotton, Adriana Haynes, and then the 2 Bullis Bulldogs, Soleil Russell and Cassidy Hopkins, to come back for the championship final tomorrow. And so we have reached our freshman final for the girls' 60-meter hurdles. Moving them into the blocks quickly, we've got Elizabeth Crombie of Fox's Striders, Goodness Ensifor of Raptor Track Club, Isis Stanford of Motor City Track Club, Madison Jones of TCK Elite Panthers, Eva Andreev of Laurel Creek Track Club. She's joining us from Canada in 5. Alana Smith from Charger Elite in 6. Cheyenne Rucker of Skyscraper in 7. And then Caitlin Jenkins on the outside in 8. Meet record in 8.88 by Kaylee Payne, set last year. What's going to happen here in the final? Madison Jones was the fastest qualifier in 9:14, and she will separate away over hurdle number 5. Madison Jones of the TCK Elite Anthers out of Dayton, Ohio, is your freshman national champion, breaking the 9-second barrier in 8:99. That is absolutely huge for Madison Jones, becoming just the 10th freshman nationwide. She's already done that. She's one of just 9 freshmen that has broken the 9-second barrier this season. She won the Ohio Division III Indoor State Championship as a freshman and now claims the Adidas National Championship just a couple of weeks later from Meadowdale. So now they're going to transition from the freshmen to the middle schoolers. They're going to lower the barriers down to the 30-inch lowest height for these 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Again, just like the freshmen, the top 8 qualifiers in the middle school girls 60-meter hurdles are here to play. Out of 28 athletes that competed in the prelims, the top 8 are all out here ready to go. Kelsey Charles of Ace Elites was the last one in at 10 flat. You basically needed to go 10 flat or quicker to make this final. And in lane 1, we've got Janae Jackson of Running Fire. Lane 2, Chayla Hope of Legacy Runners. Lane 3, Kaylin Johnson of Fast Track and Field. Lane 4, Micah Lewis of the Elgin Sharks. Elgin Sharks, of course, coming from Elgin, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. Michael Lewis here to bring it. She qualified here in 9:29. Zoe Johnson was only 600ths behind her, 2 heats separated. She's representing Legacy Runners in 5. Aaliyah Mack of Fast Track and Field, their second athlete in this, in 6. Lane 7, Kamaya Rhines of Hampton City. And Kelsey Charles, our final qualifier, lines up in 8. Meet record is an 8:69 by Gabby White from 2021. This race looking mighty close as these athletes have been itching to race each other. It's going to go to Zoe Johnson, who just leapt up the bank when she realized she was a national titleist. 8.90 for Zoe Johnson, down from 9:35 in the prelims. She has discovered another level. The 8th grader from Legacy Runners has just run one of the fastest middle school times in the nation this season. The U.S. #1 8th grade time for Zoe Johnson of Legacy Runners from Illinois herself. It was a battle for the land of Lincoln brewing here in Virginia Beach, and it's Zoe Johnson with the fastest time of anyone her age to get it done. And so they've already switched gears over to the boys in the middle school 60-meter hurdles. We've got Jaden Robinson in 1, Easton Condren in 2. From BCA in Arkansas, Jaden Estes in 3. Josiah Wendler from Washington State in 4. Jacoby Love of Maximum Output Track Club, he's from Detroit in 5. Jacoby Kluke in 6. Parker Hall of Palatine Pack in 7. And Nasir Riley from Local Track 7, 7, and 8. We are underway in the national final for the middle school boys 60-meter hurdles. It's going to be a battle to the line, but here comes Jacoby Love. You got to love it. National champion Jacoby Love. Ironically, I was saying the same thing yesterday after his prelim, and I'm saying it even louder today after he becomes national champion. He went 880 just a day ago, and now 866 for Jacoby Love. Look at the rest of the podium. Jaden Estes gets up for second. Nasir Riley of Track 757, you saw him celebrating his bronze there in the dark blue. Josiah Wendler, our fastest qualifier, has to settle for 4th. But again, it's the young man from Detroit, Michigan. A whole lot of national titles coming back to the Midwest. What's going to happen in our next final? They are clearing the barriers to make way for the 60 meters. The next event on schedule will be the girls in the championship semifinals. Look at this, a little introduction to our girls' weight throw finalists. That'll be coming out to join the fun in the field. Our championship girls' weight throw. They're introducing the third and final flight. We're looking at Danae Morgan of Hastings to come out next. Looks like they're going in ascending hip order. We've got Camden O'Shields as well from Throw One Deep. Throw One Deep, that's an awesome club name for anything throws related. Ayers Camden. And your final athlete to meet, Vanessa Jones of Tollgate. Our top seed at 59 feet 2 on the season. She is a pretty massive favorite coming in to this girls' weight throw championship. Will she be able to clutch out the national title? Back to the starting line we go. Girls 60-meter dash championship semifinals getting an extended starting opportunity, but while we got to see a very brief portion of our girls' weight throw introductions, allow me to mention that in our national rankings for this event, the girls' weight throw, that Vanessa Jones is our U.S. #1 from Tollgate in Rhode Island. Rhode Island always competitive in the weight throw. Vanessa Jones already won the Nike Indoor Nationals title in an epic battle with Washington State's Kim Beard. It came down to just a quarter of an inch. Just imagine that, a quarter of an inch, the difference between first and second at a national final. Vanessa Jones clutched it out, and will look to do the same here at Adidas to collect yet another. All right, girls 60-meter championship semifinals. Let's dive right into our first section. Now, the rules for these races are as follows. We will send the winner from each heat to the finals and the next 5 non-auto qualifiers. So in some light, if you're good at executing and winning races over distances this short, then this may be a little bit more difficult for you, as with only one auto qualifier and 7 other talented ladies in your heats. Going for time, hey, whoever said it was supposed to be easy. We got Malia Collier-Greenwell in 1 from Elizabeth Seton. Dalen Jones in 2 from Grand Rapids Fire. Ayani Daly from the house in 3. We've already seen her on a number of their relays and individual events. Chase Madison Hare, talk about great relays. Leander Spartans, their 4x2 is going to be very dangerous once we return to that event. Towards the conclusion of tonight, Leander Spartans expected to be in the second and fastest seated heat there, with Chase Madison Hare on the 3rd leg. You got Jemima Paku of the Carolina Trackhawks in 5. Tiffany Garrett of Riverdale Baptist on schedule for lane number 6. She ran in the mixed 4x4 last night, and she had a really gutsy anchor leg. Was put in a position where she had to hold off Natalie Dumas of all people from Eastern Regional New Jersey, and unfortunately just was unable to do it as far as getting the win goes, but she brought her team below well beneath the meet record. Looks like she has scratched this opening section, leaving Yasani Thompson on schedule in 7. She's not there either. And then Dara Akinsanya of Full Speed Athletics in 8. It looks as though the field is just 6. So Collier, Greenwell, Dalen Jones, Yanni Daly, Chase Madison Hare, Jemima Paku, and Dara Akinsanya, your field in this first of 3 semifinals. Win and you're in. Run fast and you'll give yourself a chance. Chase Madison Hare from the Leander Spartans gets the job done in the first section. She'll go 7:51 to take semifinal number 1. Look at Ayani Daly going 7:61, much faster than the prelims yesterday. Just doing a little comparing and contrasting. 7:51. Only a couple hundredths off of Chase Madison Hare's prelim time. So that'll put her in a good position heading into the final. Dalen Jones, Jemima Paku, Malia Collier-Greenwell, and Dara Akinsanya will have to rely on their times. Two semifinals to go in the girls' 60-meter dash. Our second features Summer Schaefer running on the inside in lane number 1, right of screen. Lane number 2, the girl who ran the second leg of the National Silver Medalist Mixed Relay 4x4, Ryan Johnson from Riverdale Baptist, the Crusaders from Maryland, in those oh-so-recognizable blue and gold kits. She's going to bring it. So is Sam Amawa of the house from D.C., running in lane number 3. Rihanna Ramais from AMG Elite coming up from Georgia will take lane number 4. Bella Ross of North Carolina Flight Club had a great run to win her heat yesterday. She'll take lane number 5. Jordan Creasy of the Carolina Trackhawks, one of our top overall meet returners. Jordan Creasy ended up finishing in the runner-up position just last year. Hope to see if she can replicate something similar. She was runner-up in many of the preliminary rounds, but ended up finishing 7th in the final. So just to expand upon that, she's looking to have a clean series here and show what she has learned. Creasy in 6. Lane 7 goes to Alicia Smith of Marlboro Elite, and then Madison Veal of Team War on the outside in 8. Our meet record for this 60-meter dash is Nakaya Holland of Montverde Academy from the inaugural Adidas Track Nationals in 2021. National record jointly set this year and last by Mia Maxwell and Lisa Ray at 7:13. Semifinal number 2, Girls Championship, 60-meter dash. The full field of 8 is away at first ask. Who's going to get that automatic qualifier? It's going to be airtight between 3, 4, and 5. A lean at the tape. It looked like Sam Amawa of the house on the far side was close. But Brianna Ramais of AMG Elite and Bella Ross of North Carolina Flight Club were also there. It's going to go to Amawa in 7:57. How close were the others? Both likely to advance with their bubble times, as it'll be the next 5 non-autos, but they are still trying to sort out who got second in that race. Sam Amawa just matched her preliminary time. Remember, she was a bubble qualifier from yesterday, so nice to get a heat win under her belt. Bella Ross is confirmed by 1/100th of a second to be your runner-up in that second semi. And with a whole lot of adjustment, Jemima Paku is now on the bubble at 7:71 for the fastest 5th non-auto qualifier. So having a look at that in greater context, last year, as for what it took to make this championship final, it was a 7:65 by Jordan Creasy. So far, Creasy is outside of the bubble by 1 spot, so she will not be able to return. Despite having a solid bounce back. Of course, she and the Carolina Trackhawks, though, their relays are simply loaded. So by no means can we consider this a done trip for those gals. We've got our 3rd semifinal coming up next. It'll be Ayani Rubottom of Oscar Smith in 1. Temitope Adeoye of the Spartans Track Club at 2. Corbin Raston, who's finished as high as 2nd in New Jersey state championships. The future Penn Quaker from West Oranges in 3. Mackenzie Griffiths, huge no-show here as the fastest qualifier from Carolina Trackhawks, will not run out of lane 4. Kaylin Tucker of Brookville will, though. She's coming out of lane number 5. She won Heat 2 yesterday in 7:70. Avery Alicea running in 6. Cheyenne Mayo of Ariel Supreme Track Club running in 7. And Deasia Kane of Neighborhood Academy, Pennsylvania on the outside in 8. Semifinal number 3, Girls Championship 60-meter dash. If you don't win your heat, you better run faster than 7:71. Who's going to separate? It is Alicea in lane number 6. Avery Alicea, 7:60 for the win. Corbin Raston got up for 2nd. She'll set the new bubble time of 7:67 and be the last girl in to a loaded girls championship final coming tomorrow. But either way, a job well done by Avery Alicea, making herself a player to watch heading into tomorrow's final for sure. She came in seated behind some of the girls that she had beaten in this race, like Corbin Raston, like Galen Tucker. And Alicea, the Floridian, comes up and gets the job done from Nice High School in Pontevedra. She was 8th at the Florida High School Indoor Championships in the 60, 14th in the 200. How will she fare in this latest go-around? She didn't advance out of the semifinals last year over the 60s. So this is her chance. They've got the track clear for the time being, as the next event, the Boys Championship 60-meter semis, is about 5 minutes away from scheduled departure. And so we will keep it here on the starting line and return to call the action when the boys join us atop the infield straightaway. Don't go anywhere. Stick with us here at Virginia Beach for day 2 of Adidas Track Nationals, live on MileSplit and FloTrack. Welcome back to Adidas Track Nationals, live from the Virginia Beach Sports Center in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Carson Gambaro live with you on Mile Split and FloTrack, getting set for the championship boys 60-meter dash semi-final rounds. 3 heats coming your way, featuring the top 24 athletes from yesterday's series of 17 prelims. They whittled it down all the way to a very small margin. As for how many boys competed for spots in these next 3 heats yesterday, the total, 99. So we're really getting down to some of the best. It took 7:01 or quicker just to make this semi. How about this first heat? Let's introduce the field. We've got Jonathan Nielsen of Team Quest in 1, Antonio Clark Jr. and Wendell Wells, 2 guys that qualified in tandem for Newman Athletic Academy in the 4x2 tonight. They ran 1:26.77. Wendell Wells was the anchor, the man you see in 3. But Anthony Boykin ran a great leg for the Carolina Trackhawks in his 4x2 yesterday. He's the 200-meter New Balance national runner-up, a sub-21 guy at his best. Zion Prescott of Georgia Rapid Fire in 5. Preston Benefield of Leander Spartans in 6. Jaden Wilson of RJ Reynolds in 7. Early movement. That was lane 5. Zion Prescott. Anthony Boykin standing still in lane 4, just trying to recompose himself. Boykin, we knew, came in with a huge chip on his shoulder as one of the top fastest in the nation over this distance. Boykin has already run a 6:75 this season, a yellow card issued. Standing in lane number 5 again, that was for Prescott from Georgia. Zion Prescott of Georgia Rapid Fire. Producer Jeff Mitchell is telling me that card was red. Zion Prescott's stepping aside will all but confirm those suspicions. So unfortunately, his early move will not be forgiven. This field is down to 6. Reintroducing you to the field, Nielsen, Clark Jr., Wells, Boykin, Benefield, and Wilson. Let's try this again. Win and you're in. And Anthony Boykin says, no problemo. Through the line comes the senior from Enloe, North Carolina, from the Carolina Trackhawks. Another 6.7 second clocking on his weekend. A 6:78 yesterday, a 6:79 to secure his position in the finals today. Anthony Boykin Jr., the reigning runner-up in the boys 60-meter dash national championship. From the prelims to the semis, ended up having to finish 4th in the finals. So now that we've got that straight for you, you could just tell how much more motivated he is to go and get this national title this year around. We'll see just if he can get it. We've got 2 more heats to determine who will join him in the finals. Our early bubble is Antonio Clark Jr. of Newman, 7:06, but that is likely to drop just to make the final last year as one of the non-auto cues. You look at the time it took there, it was a 6:94 by Reed Frink of North Brunswick. And with how tightly packed the first round was, Reed Frink came to compete but didn't even advance as a result of just all that depth. So much uncontrollability in such a situation. A look at it, dial it down in this second and ultimate semifinal are your following 8. In lane number 2, looks like nobody's in 1, so going to give it to Sebastian Jitsi of Cooper Track Stars. We got Cameron Jefferson of the Falcon Track Club in 3. Bryce Smith from Western Branch. He ran a 6:76 to qualify as the fastest man in out of the prelims yesterday. That just about brought him to U.S. number 27 jointly. So he's moved his way up the rankings nicely with that prelim run. Smith in 4, Femi Fakoya of Full Speed Athletics in 5, Carmelo Salem of Durham Striders at 6, Cooper Colcom of Paul VI Catholic in 7, and Devin Smiley of True Speed Elite on the outside in 8. Championship boys, 60 meters, semifinal number 2. Bryce Smith might not have gotten away the quickest this time. He's going to have to come from behind to get that auto cue. He will. Bryce Smith just over Femi Fakoya of Full Speed Athletics, who made it very close off the start. Smith with a 6:89, nowhere near as fast as he went yesterday. We'll have to regather. Fakoya should be safe in terms of advancing. He has the fastest non-auto qualifier now of 6:92. And after the conclusion of this heat with Sebastian Jeetzy beneath 7 as well, the new bubble is Jaden Wilson, our 4th place finisher of the first heat, 7:01. So just one semifinal to go for this boys championship 60-meter dash. 7:01, remember the bubble it took to make this semi, and it is now the bubble required to make the final if you are ultimately not the winner of this heat. We've got Jordan Burns running unattached out of lane number 1. He's repping LCA there right of screen. Marquise Burnett looks to have vacated lane 2, leaving Reginald Clark of Embrace Sports, another track club we've gotten to see at a couple points in time. They're a Detroit-based unit joining us from Motown. Nice to see them here, as well as Keon Johnson of Paul VI. He comes from much nearby in Virginia. He's in 4. He ran a 6:84 to qualify here, placing second behind Anthony Boykin in his heat yesterday. Now they've been separated. Johnson has to execute. Micah Pickett of Elgin Sharks will have to do the same out of lane number 5, coming from just outside the Chicago area. You got Justice Gramling of North Stanley in 6, Pharrell Crystalline of Brookville in 7, and Ian Israel Jr. from Williamstown, New Jersey, has vacated lane 8, making this a field of 6 in heat number 3. Early movement out of lane number 5. That was definitely Micah Pickett of Elgin Sharks from my view. Let's see just what the officials have to say. So we're going to have to await the verdict to see if they will forgive that early movement by Micah Pickett of Elgin Sharks from lane 5. They're having a long discussion about it. And here comes the verdict. You can see the yellow side of the card, but that is red. Micah Pickett's gone. So we are down to a field of 5. Again, the bubble time is a 7:01 for those who don't win their heat. We've had a couple of guys go quicker than that to get here. Jordan Burns, he ran 6:99. Reginald Clark in 3. You see him there, second from your right. He ran a 6.94 to get here. We already talked about Keon Johnson with his 6.84. He was chasing Anthony Boykin there, the man who already qualified out of the first section. Don't forget about Justice Gramling and Pharrell Crystalline, nearest to frame in 6 and 7. Take 2 of heat number 3 in the boys' championship 60-meter dash, heat 3 semifinal. This time they're away cleanly. A nice, low, powerful start by Keon Johnson to Paul VI. No problem for him at all. 6.83, even quicker than the prelims. And he'll be your second fastest qualifier into tomorrow's final for the boys' championship 60-meter dash. He is right off the track and ready to regroup for a showdown with the following men: Preston Benefield, Pharrell Crystalline, Sebastian Jeetzy, Jonathan Nielsen, Femi Fakoya, Bryce Smith, and Anthony Boykin. Keon Johnson himself completing your top 8 finalist lineup that'll return tomorrow to compete for all the glory. Speaking of finals with glory on the line, we've got yet another one coming your way. On the girls' side, we're going to be flip-flopping back and forth in between genders for our middle school finals. It'll be girls followed by boys, and freshman girls followed by freshman boys. And after that, we'll return to the video board to welcome on our 2-mile finalists at 9:55 on schedule for our girls' championship 2-mile. Boys Championship 2-mile will be right after that. A whole lot of action happening today. Again, we got to see some of our girls' weight throwers come out for the third flight. We've got the Boys Championship weight throw coming later today. Both high jumps, boys pole vault. It's a busy day in the field as well. We already saw our triple jumps get crowned yesterday. McKaylin Rose on the girls' side, and Mr. Canfield on the boys' side. Let's see who's going to become middle school 60-meter national champion. We've got Dakota Washington, Kellen Mack, Shania Garrett-Pollard, Chloe Carter, London Mays, Kinsley West, Nia Marie Hickson, Kanaya Taylor. Meet record is a 7.61 by Danielle Dunning of D-Elite from 2022. They're being called to a quick stand-up. Somebody might have been uneasy in the blocks. Green card for the field. So we'll call them back down once again. Chloe Carter from Southeast Louisiana Roadrunner. Look out for her in lane number 4. She and London Mays and Shania Garrett-Pollard in third. Those 3 ladies you see in the middle 3 lanes were the only 3 to break 8 seconds, but Kinsley West out of lane number 6, she was at 8 flat. It's anybody's game. All prelim times are out the window as they're coming down the stretch. And into the line, it's a blanket finish for the middle school national title. Who was it? You had Kellen Mack in the mix on the far side. You had Carter in the middle. But it was Dakota Washington on lane number 1. The second slowest qualifier is your national champion. Dakota Washington, 7.92, wins it by 1/100 of a second. Kellen Mack and Chloe Carter photo for second at 7.93. Mack gets her by 2/1000 to decide the silver, and Kamaya Taylor in 4th. But my, oh my, we were talking all about Carter, Mays, Garrett-Pollard, and Kinsley West. As the girls who had gone 8 flat or quicker, Dakota Washington at 8.10 was by no means in consideration for this national title, but she wrote herself into the conversation, baby. That is how you do it. Congratulations, Dakota Washington. And now for the boys middle school 60-meter championship final. Our meet record in this event was set in 2022 by a man who ultimately placed third in the championship 60-meter dash as a senior last year on North Carolina Flight Club. We're talking about Rakeem Faison, who ran a 7:02 back in 2022. As for this field, we've got Stephen Carter of Run U Express in 1, Christian Simpson of Elite Express in 2, Darian Clemens of Galleon Middle School in 3, Success Aregbesola of Baltimore Sayans in 4, Donald Green III, Trey G3, who's on schedule to appear in lane number 5. It looks like he's chosen to save up for the 400 meters as he enters as the New Balance Middle School champ in that event, leaving Nathaniel Bordeaux of Charles County, Austin Bowden of Ebenezer AME Royal Runners, and Tyus Page of the Speed Team. In your field of 7, a little sluggish start for Aregbesola. He's got to catch Clemens and also Simpson. Oh my goodness, another blanket finish. I think Aregbesola in the golden kit had the lean, but you've also got to consider Nathaniel Bordeaux of Charles County. He was surging out of 6. Who was it? Oh my goodness, it was Christian Simpson, unofficially out of 2. There are definitely going to be some corrections and certifications made here, but they are showing Simpson as champion. You better believe it. 7:38. They have removed Aregbesola's time to confirm where he finished in 2nd. But you got to give credit where credit is due to Christian Simpson. He came in as just the 5th fastest qualifier. All the underdogs are coming out to play in the middle school 60-meter finals. And there it is. Once again, you see it on the bottom left, popping in and out of frame. Aregbesola, it looked like they were all right there at 7:38. Nathaniel Bordeaux at 7:39. With Clemens at 7:42, who got a really good start in lane number 3. And while we'd love to look at this for as long as until it's certified, we've got another national championship coming right up. Congratulations, Christian Simpson, your boys middle school national unofficial champion. We've got our girls coming up in the freshman final. Our top 8 preliminary advancers have brought all but one to return here. You got Ziana Gooden of Charger Elite in 1, Michaela Langdon of Elisea Track Club in 2, Hannah McCall of the Lexington Striders in 3, Taraji Jordan of High Point Blaze. She ran an incredible 7.70 yesterday. She's going to clash up with Ina Ndong Emba, who ran 7.73 herself. We've been itching to see this matchup between those two. Remember, they were separated between heats yesterday. They'll be joined by some other dark horses in Amwari Rogers in 6 and Rosiah Davis of Lansdowne in 7. Girls freshman final of the 60-meter dash, ready to go. Looking for a meet record of 7:55 or quicker by Allie Bredinger from just last year. It is Emba, it is Jordan to the line. Taraji Jordan separates in the final 10 meters and gets it done. Clinches the national chip in 7:61. In another sub-7.7 for Ina Ndong Emba. 7:68 for second. Hannah McCall up for bronze by 1/100 of a second over Michaela Langdon. But Taraji Jordan from High Point Blaze, how about that time amongst freshman girls? A 7:61 is tied for U.S. number 7. Jordan was already tied for number 22 with her time from yesterday, but she just catapulted herself 15 spots up the national rankings for young ladies her age, and she did it in style. All right, it's time for the boys in the 60-meter dash for the freshman national championship final. These fellas looking to get some good practice starts nailed down. Though there is far more to the 60-meter dash than the start, it is always important to nail down the most difficult part of the race. You just look at how a start can almost decide a national final or even a world final. Having the ability to start well and finish well can make you a champion. Jordan Anthony showed us that just yesterday in Poland. Who's going to show us that today here in Virginia Beach? We've got Demetrius Tsioris in 1, Tyshawn Bledsoe of Kinston Spirits in 2, Jeremiah Dickerson running on a lane number 3, Matthew McFarland of Team War. He had a meet record yesterday to qualify for this final of 7:04, clashing with Tristan Nwosin of Knights Track Club in 5. He was just 100th behind, tying the old meet record of 7:05. Raymond Williams of Superior in 6, David Bleckney Jr. of Suitland in 7, and then Maxton Upstead in 8. Uh-oh. What happened there? Some of the guys are discussing, was it me? Was it you? I swear it wasn't me. Will anybody be disqualified? They've just given a red card to Maxton Upstead, so his national championship final hopes are over. Such a tough break for Upstead, but we will get to see him try for revenge in the 200 just one day from today. So we wish him the best in regrouping and regathering. He'll at least be able to keep his body fresh for it. But either way, such a tough break. Let's see just who can emerge on the second go. Freshman boys 60-meter final. Again, 7:04 is the meet record. And Matthew McFarland ran that in the prelims. Tristan Nwosin was right behind him. Those two in 4 and 5 do not count out the underdogs. Jeremiah Dickerson at 7:16, the closest to challenge. Here we go. Look at McFarland right out of the blocks, but Nwosin's challenging him. McFarland just gets there by the skin of his teeth to become freshman Adidas national champion with another meet record, 2 on the weekend for Matthew McFarland, the Warrior from Suffolk, Virginia. Tristan Nwosin ties the old meet record, the one-day old meet record from McFarland himself, and Tyshawn Bledsoe of Kinston Spirits with a huge run for third, 7:06 for the bronze medal. I said that we could just see our first sub-7 by a freshman in Adidas history. We are getting closer and closer, courtesy of the hometown Warrior, Matthew McFarland from Nansemond River. And amongst nationwide freshmen, we've got to contextualize his mark as well. A 7.01 will tie him for number 14 in the nation, notwithstanding his New Balance prelim time of 6:98, Matthew McFarland. But just expanding upon the context of that, again, McFarland getting the national title has got to mean so much to him. The first of potentially many, and now we welcome on a girl who's already been there and done that, your reigning 2-mile champion, Georgie Helmers. Next up, a young lady from upstate New York, Saranac, the Spartan, Sienna Bowles. Our third competitor in the girls 2-mile, eager to get after this one, Adriana Vastag. We have got an absolutely loaded field, including a young lady competing in her first national championship from PR Blocks in Florida, Marissa Berger. Our fifth of 19 athletes ready to come out from the Studley Stingers, River Smith. You got to love to see these ladies absorbing the championship atmosphere, including one who has already done it at the state championship level. Your 3,200-meter Louisiana state champion, Lucy Kramer, straight to the line she goes. We'll get to meet one of her very close friends and teammates in just a minute. But in the meantime, we've got to welcome on Adeline Davis as well. Looks like she might be representing the Garden State Track Club or a similar looking kit. Either way, she is there. And so is Carissa Ambrose. All business, baby. That's what we love to see. We've got yet another New Jerseyan coming to the mix. We already saw Adeline Davis repping the Garden State kit. And now Giovanna Montuano will do the same, wearing hip number 9. What about the girl who anchored Crozet crew in the distance medley relay? A Virginia state champion over 1,600 meters, trying to stretch it out to twice the distance. That's Emerson Ritter. Next up, we welcome on Reagan Clifton, one of the taller built athletes here. How will she assess this tight, densely packed field? Amelia Tenney, ready to come out next. We said we would meet a great friend of Lucy Kramer. Her sister, Molly Kramer, who took second behind her at States, will not be joining us, clearing the way for Amelia Tenney. And now Chloe May repping Team USA kit. Love to see that for the young lady from Bedford, Pennsylvania. And just a couple of athletes left. Alexandra Chappelle from the Studley Stingers, their second athlete in the mix. Shelby Lamb of Push Academy getting a nice burst from the crowd. Lainey Berkemer, your 18th athlete. And how about sisterhood? Your first athlete was Georgie Helmers. Your second is Ada Helmers. These two ladies lived in Georgia for a majority of their lives. That's where Georgie had spent the first portion of her high school career. She had won 6 Georgia State titles before coming to North Carolina to win 3 more thus far. Let's see if Georgie Helmers can defend her 2-mile national title. Long hold. Surprised they didn't have to stand them up either way. Your girls' 2-mile national championship at Adidas Track Nationals is underway. What a direction this event has taken. We've already mentioned Katie Zhang, and what she did at New Balance last week was simply phenomenal. Of course, coming off of a low 940s performance at the Ohio State meet, that was only the indicator. Georgie Helmers, what does she have in store for us? She's yet to run a true 2-mile this season, but we've seen her run multiple 10:19s. And amongst what we know it's taken to win this title, that'll pretty much get it done for you. Having a look at what Helmers needed to run to win last year, it was a 10:09:03, so that was her 3K split, in fact, just to confirm for you. But rather, her full 2-mile time was at 10:47.64. So she's been able to run races like this and win races with efforts well within her wheelhouse. She's already on the second of 16 laps with a sizable advantage over the rest of the field. It looks like Lucy Kramer is the closest to her thus far. But now moving up into second, wearing hip number 9. A nice move by Giovanna Montuano. We talked about her coming as one of our top New Jerseyans. Montuano just beneath 11 minutes per the seedings. Now, because a lot of girls will come from different events, whether it be the even 3K, the 3,200 meters, sometimes assessing those splits becomes a little bit difficult in terms of what they've already shown us. But Carissa Ambrose, she's in this for the long run. Kramer's in third. Ada Helmers, we've got two Helmers sisters in the top four as we're about to enter our fourth lap. Helmers clicking off the watches. That's Georgie Helmers, a la Katie Zhang, ironically. You've got Sienna Bolds, who looks to be running in the number 5 position. She's just trying to find her way up through this pack. We'll keep close watch on this field as they continue. Considering the future of these distance runners, Georgie Helmers and Sienna Bolds, two big Division I commits, as Helmers will be heading to the girl gang. The Furman Dinwoman commit, 235 through 818 meters, with Carissa Ambrose still holding up second from Kramer. There goes the other jersey, and Adeline Davis up into second. As far as that chase group goes, she is in fourth in the overall race. But Montuano, just to re-expand upon her, she comes from Paul VI of New Jersey. We've talked about Paul VI from Virginia all weekend long, but your current runner-up in the field placed 16th in the New Jersey Meet of Champions with a new lifetime best of 10:54 over the 3200. So she's really found something special in this distance. But again, Georgie Helmers, she just made a 3:14 look easy as pie. She is on pace for a sub-9:45 3K. And we mentioned her 3K en route split was outside of 10 minutes last year. Just having a look at some of the state titles that Helmers has won thus far in her Carolina career. She won the 1K indoor state title for 6A this past season at 2:54.92. So just going to show you her increasing comfort zone with that distance. She won the 6A cross country state title and even went on to nearly break 17 at NXR Southeast. She qualified for NXN, placing 39th, 5th place in the Southeast Regionals, and was just one spot away from qualifying for Brooks and 11th for Brooks South. So she's got all the strength to make it happen. She's on her 7th of 16 laps. It's still that two-way battle for second between Giovanna Montuano and the Louisiana State Champion Junior Lucy Kramer from Parkview Baptist, whose former teammate Ada Monasteri came here to do an epic 2-mile double at the VA Showcase just last year. This has got to be one of the faster efforts for Kramer, the girl in third that we've seen all season from her. And she's only had to run as fast as 10:58.10 at the LSU Last Chance qualifier. Now, it's Nationals, baby. It's time to turn it up. And Georgie Helmers is doing just that. Kramer moves her way up into second, ahead of Montuano and Davis. Helmers has been just beneath 40 seconds on each of her laps. 40 seconds, that's 5:20 mile pace, and she was at 5:12 halfway through. And she's proven that this is more than tolerable. She's making this look like a workout right now as the three girls from Louisiana and New Jersey bunch up for second. Now moving up into the number 5 position, you've got Lainey Berkemer, the unattached senior, coming to join us here at the Adidas Track Nationals. Lainey Berkemer running her one and only individual final this weekend, coming from the great state of Pennsylvania, out of Martinsburg Central, District 6. Has not run a whole lot of indoor races this season, any at all. So nice to see her making a nice little return to Adidas Nationals after a great cross-country season. She was 4th at her state championship final. Was Berkemer the girl in 5th in the big orange t-shirts, and ran as fast as 17:28.70 over 5K. But Georgie Helmers, each and every lap has been a step away from her competitors. She has yet to have a single lap slip outside of 40 seconds. Ever since the 1K split, 5 laps ago, she's been making 39 seconds per go-around. You just saw her cross the 2-kilometer mark. Georgie Helmers at 6:34.23, with just 6 laps remaining. Adeline Davis has found her way up in a second over Carissa Ambrose. Lucy Kramer. River Smith, it looked like Montuano fell a little bit deeper into the pack, so give some greater light to Carissa Ambrose. We're watching out here. She definitely came in as one of the other top seeds for sure. She is a lot more familiar with the Hampton Roads region as she is from Atlee, Virginia. Maybe not exactly from our doorstep, but either way, she placed second, Carissa Ambrose, in the 1,600 meters at Class 4 states over at Liberty, and even third in the 3,200. We saw her take second in the Open 32 back at VA Showcase with her lifetime best of 10:47.72. So Ambrose really trying to attack it here, as that was just her first ever sub-11 minute clocking. Georgie Helmers has done countless sub-10, 11-minute performances. And in her one and only 3,200 meters of the indoor season, she ran a 10:43.16 at the Mondo Elite High School Invitational. The big thing for Georgie Helmers is that she was second in the mile last year. She wants to go after the double that only Jessica Abbott of Manalapan, New Jersey prevented her from in 2025. So can she keep it up? She's virtually locked down this 2-mile title, and she's coming into her final 600 meters of running. 13 laps about to be complete for the young lady who will be taking her talents to Greenville, South Carolina. 8:34 on the clock for the Furman commit, Georgie Helmers, who's going to look to add to what's really become a dynasty-type program out of the Southern Conference, a team that unfortunately had to see its men's basketball hopes come to an end as the 15th seed against the UConn Huskies. That game had been pretty close, a lot closer than this race at times. Georgie Helmers is looking to show that Furman can issue some blowouts of its own. And of course, E.E. Smith, her new home in North Carolina, a high school. It's given her a shot to potentially end her career as a double-digit state champion. She's got 9 in total, 6 from Georgia and 3 from North Carolina. And trying to pick up yet another Adidas national title, going for her second in a row. Adeline Davis finding some breakaways from Carissa Ambrose. It's New Jersey in second, Virginia in third. But it is all the Carolinian in front. Georgie Helmers ready to take the bell, entering her final lap in the girls' 2-mile championship. 9:55 on the clock for the future Din woman. She has been clicking the watch just about every single lap up until now. What did we say? She's made this look like an absolute workout. And to pick up yet another national title ought to feel so rewarding for her. And she's given her a shot at a 2-mile double to come tomorrow. Showcasing that sub-5 closing speed. She broke beneath that barrier for the first time this indoor season. And now to compound it with her second straight national title, Georgie Helmers in the 2-mile, right at 10:32.21. Helmers inside the top 50 in the country, U.S. number 45 for Georgie Helmers. And now the sprint for second, Ambrose looks to have gotten back in there. Carissa Ambrose, 10:50.44, her second sub-11 of this season. River Smith of the Studley Stingers just out kicks Adeline Davis for third. And Lene Berkemer, the young lady from Pennsylvania, rounds out the top 5. With Georgie Helmers, again, going after it in 5:12 was no easy task. I'm curious to know what her goal pace was to take it out in. And I was curious, too, if she would let the race get tactical, knowing she has the mile tomorrow. But either way, to know that you can control a 10:32 just like that. I mean, her splits were pretty darn even. You have it 5:14 official first, 16:18. In the last 8 laps, she covered in right around 5:18. So a pretty small differential for Georgie Helmers. And the more important differential was the gap. The rest of the field was within 10 to 15 seconds of her at the halfway point. Not so the case once she came to the finish line. Georgie Helmers, out of her 16 laps, only 5 of them were outside of 40 seconds flat. Everybody else had at least double that. So consistent speed, endurance, and maintenance by the senior from E.E. Smith, Georgie Helmers, your national champion once again. Looks like we're going to get some introductions now for the boys' 2-mile championship. They've condensed it into one and only heat featuring 8 talented young men, beginning with Quinn Eliason of Formula Track Club. Quinn comes in with a big chip on his shoulder, looking to go after a potential sub-9-minute clocking. He has an 8-minute seed time to his name, but has yet to actually do that on paper. 9:10.71 to win the Meet of Champions at Davidson College back in the outdoor season. Let's see what he's got. Let's see what Grady Jenkins of Jenkins Running Clue, coming up from Texas, has to offer. He's going to make this a good race. So is the New Yorker, the man who finished 5th at the New York State Championships in the 1,600 meters. Daniel McPherson, the future Geneseo Knight from Pine Plains, one of the smallest schools in New York State, out of Section 9. We've also got Hayden Hermanson, a guy who will be taking his talents to one of the best Division II programs, the team that won cross-country nationals, Wingate, the future Bulldog, out of HIP number 5. Some more all-state performers in this, including Gabriel Everett of Western Branch. The man from nearby Chesapeake will take HIP number 7. And your final man to welcome on will be Ian Putnam, the Ohioan. All business, rocking that tiger shade of orange from Marietta. And so back to the starting line we go as our full boys 2-mile field has been introduced. They're likely going to give them just one waterfall to work with. Really excited to see what guys like McPherson can do. As again, we mentioned his newfound 4:15 mile speed. That puts him right in the mix with guys like Eliason, who can go 4:13 at their best. But we're going to meet a lot of these competitors in greater detail. Carson Gambaro, happy to give you all the deserved introductions. Happy to be part of the Adidas Track Nationals once again. Last year to win this boys 2-mile national championship, it took a pretty darn quick time by James Callahan. How quick? But a new meet record of 8:55.94. He was the only athlete to go after that sub-9. Will somebody else do the honors here in 2026? It's a field of 6 in a race for 16 laps of glory. Quinn Eliason is running on the outside waterfall. I hope he realizes that he can cut in now, and he does. The top seed from Formula Track Club, wearing HIP number 1 in white on the left of your screen, trying to get his way to the front, shouldering past Daniel McPherson of Pine Plains, New York. Quinn Eliason, just about where we expected him to be. He comes from St. Anne's Belfield School out of Charlottesville, Virginia, home of the Hokies. He was the cross-country independent school state champion in the fall. and really dropped his 5K times in addition to all of his mid-distance abilities as well. 14:59.50 at the East Coast Elite Fast Times Invitational, otherwise known as the State Meet Preview at Panorama Farms, a course that has hosted the NCAA championships in years past. Quinn Eliason, definitely a player to watch. Just so happens that he's going to be staying home for college as well. Eliason is a future Virginia Cavalier running with the lead. Seems like future Virginia Cavaliers from Charlottesville have a tendency to run well here at the Virginia Beach Sports Center. We saw it on the girls' side in the 1 mile championship at the A Showcase with Elena Pierce from Charlottesville High School. She's going to be running for UVA, so here's her future teammate Quinn Eliason looking to show us what he's got. It's McPherson in second through 3 laps of running. And again, you got to be really impressed by what you've seen from Dan this season. For the first few years of his high school running career, he was running in tandem with his teammate Max Decker, who's now with the Siena Saints. If you want to talk about Cinderella teams in March Madness, well, Dan's former teammate Max currently runs with them. But it's really nice to see just how he's emerged in Max's absence over this past year. Max graduated in 2025. Dan's going to be graduating this June. They're coming through 800 just beneath 220, which puts them beneath 9-minute 20 pace for this boys' national championship 2 mile. But McPherson placed 6th overall in New York State if you consider the Federation. But if you narrow it down to the public schools, interestingly, then you could put him even higher on that podium. 3rd place, make that 4th place among men from the 11 sections, as they're called in upstate New York and Long Island. So he's really been attacking that podium. We saw him take 6th in the 3200 as well for the Federation. That's where he set his 9:12.69 PR. He's been doing it all, and Grady Jenkins is going with them. The Texan in 3rd. We've seen him go as quick as 9:06.98 at last year's Nike Indoor Nationals, Grady Jenkins. Only a couple of indoor races this season at Jimmy Carnes over at University of Florida, but he did win the 3K for the youth boys 17-18 division there. And we even saw him getting pretty close to sub-15 in cross-country this past season. He has that 14:59 strength to his name from the DFW 5K Festival in 2024. So he's been on the scene for a while, Grady Jenkins, your number 3 runner in this field, coming up to the 1,400-meter splits. Into the final 9 laps of running. Get ever closer to that vertex in this boys' 2 mile. Ian Putnam, the Ohioan, right there in 4th. But it's Quinn Eliason, the future Cavalier, still out in front. When he won back in cross-country states, it wasn't his first rodeo on top of the VISAA. He had doubled in the mile and the 2 mile as a junior. And at the Adidas Indoor Nationals, he had some great runs as well. Just 1 spot away from All-American honors in the full mile. 9th place was Quinn Eliason there. You got to think he's been running with some motivation to go along with his 4 total state titles, as they've come through the mile mark at 4:38.58, so they've kept it beneath that 9:20 pace. You got to be loving this if you're a Grady Jenkins or a Daniel McPherson, especially a McPherson, a guy who's found that 4:15 mile speed of his own and would want to use that to close beneath his 9:12 PR. Of course, negative splits are of the essence if you want to go after that. It's going to take a whole lot of tactics, timing, and judgment to come away with this national title. Quinn Eliason, interestingly, before he became a 4-time state champion at St. Anne's Belfield School, he was actually competing with Western Albemarle as a freshman. So he's had state experience at the public school level, at the private school independent level. It's really difficult to say that he hasn't been well prepped for this Adidas National Championship final as he hits the final 6 laps at 5:48, still with a little bit of cushion on Grady Jenkins. Now, if you're Jenkins, if you're McPherson, are you comfortable with where you're at right now? I think they both recognize that in an ideal world, they'd be right on the back of Quinn Elias and the leader, but it takes work to cover that move, and now might not be the time for them to expend that energy. Jenkins looks to be deciding in favor of a coverage move, but Quinn Eliason is just matching every single response. He is staying one step ahead of the field as they enter the final kilometer. It's Eliason, Jenkins, McPherson, Putnam, and then future Wingate Bulldog Hayden Hermanson in 5th. This has got to be one of the more effortless displays of acceleration that I've seen since Quinn Eliason's other future teammate, Trent Daniels of Gainesville. Back in the distance medley relay at the Virginia Showcase, I remember just seeing Trent on an anchor slowly wind it up, barely using his arms in the earlier portions of his 1,600-meter carry. But when it came time to go, he just let loose, and Quinn Eliason is opening it up, pulling away from frame. With just 3.5 laps to go, he is drawing ever closer to his first national title. A man who has competed at several regional and national championships, of course, here at Adidas last year. He went to New Balance to run the 2 mile in the outdoor season. And he's even given it several good runs to try and make NXN in the fall. He was 16th at the Southeast Regionals this past fall for cross country. And it's got to feel so good for him to finally be in position to claim what he's felt has been his for a while. Quinn Eliason moving by lap traffic. Very nice gesture by Gabriel Everett to step aside as Eliason hits the final 400 in front. Grady Jenkins in 2nd. Now Hayden Hermanson moving his way up into 3rd. All happening well off the screen as Eliason's on the penultimate backstretch with less than 300 meters to go. What kind of time is he going to be in for? We know he's gone 9:10 at his best. He's not going to be too far off of that if he can kick it in here. He's been saving some gears. I think he wants to break 9:10 for the first time officially in a storied varsity career. Quinn Eliason from Formula Track Club entering the final 100 meters, now in full sprint. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is going to prevent this young man from his first Adidas national title in the boys 2 mile. Down the stretch he comes, matching his PR, 9:10 for the win by Quinn Eliason, the future Virginia Cavalier. A 9:10.57 for the victory. The King of Virginia has brought it home. And he'll be number 7 in the state to conclude his season. Grady Jenkins just holding on for the silver over Hayden Hermanson. McPherson 4th, Putnam in 5th, and only Gabriel Everett to come on the finish. But how about that negative split? Again, a 4:38 opening mile, a 4:32 on the last mile. 6-second negative by Quinn Eliason from St. Anne's Belfield School out of Charlottesville. Crowd giving it up for our final competitor. There's Everett. Looks to be a little bit cramped up at the finish. Huge kudos to him for finishing it out in a national championship final. He has done it the hard way and made us all proud. Quinn Eliason brings home the big honors. Let's move things forward now. Where are we in our program? We are right around 10:18 a.m., just a singular minute behind schedule. We've got our girls middle school 400-meter dash coming up next on the track. It's going to be a series of timed finals, a total of 22 heats over approximately the next 50 minutes of action. We appreciate everybody's company throughout the morning. The action is only about to intensify. Stick with us for these ensuing heats of the middle school girls 400 from the Virginia Beach Sports Center in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Well, well, well. Ain't nothing like a good old sub 6400 to bring Carson Gambaro back out of the shadows. Talking about myself in third person, huh? Either way, that was Mina Naylor in 59.65, your first sub 60 in the girls 400 for the middle schoolers. For a while, we saw Kimora Whitaker's 60.46 stand as the time to beat from the 12th heat. But we are into heat number 20, only getting faster. Keep in mind there are 22 heats total, so we are really coming down to the wire. We've got Jada Mapanda, Armani Gatling, Charlotte Green, Ava Hughes, and Demi Void. This is Armani Gatling from track 757. Ava Hughes of Glen Arden right on her shoulder. They went out in 29.35, so look at this. 4 wide by Charlotte Green of Elite Speed. She's moved all the way up from 5th to 2nd. Still with Glen Arden's Ava Hughes to catch. But it looks like now Demi Void of the Philadelphia Striders has moved her way up. In fact, that was Hughes herself. She came all the way from 2nd on that first lap. She did get it. Yes, Ava Hughes of Glen Arden. Glen Arden for the win. So just a couple heats to go. We'll see if that time will ultimately maintain. According to the seedings, the heats get faster, quote unquote, as they go. But once you get on the line, all of the prior knowledge goes out the window. We've got Liani Shimizu, Chandler Fletcher, and Chloe Carter. Chloe Carter, remember, was in a photo finish for the silver medal back in the championship 60-meter final to the middle schoolers. So she's been really chomping at the wood trying to get after those national titles. She ran a 7.93 to take the bronze medal behind only Kellen Mack and Dakota Washington. Here she goes. She's in the mix. But in the lead, it's Chandler Fletcher. 28.91 was her halfway split, and she's got a comfortable advantage in red for the Trackhawks. But the Louisianan Chloe Carter, with some tall, powerful finishing form, is reeling her in with every step. Chloe Carter around the outside and into the lead, cutting straight into the rail. Carter's going to take the win, upper 60 seconds this time. 60.79 for the penultimate heat win. That'll place her 3rd overall once again, so in position for at least another bronze medal. With just one section to go, it's going to come down to Gabrielle Toms, Najee Sabakan, Dakota Washington, our 60-meter champion in 4, Janelle McKnight of Speed Evolutions in 5, and Morgan Kent of the Hampton Roads Hurricanes is on the outside in 6. Our middle school meet record of 56.07 by Jaya Patillo from Nebraska in 2023. It's going to take some really quick splits to get that done, but remember, Dakota Washington went from 8.10 in the 60-meter prelims down to 7.92 to collect the 60-meter national title. She's going to need to close fast, as breaking away is McKnight of Speed Evolutions. Oh man, some contact. Washington got the worst of that towards the back, and she has fallen off the track. The 60-meter champion in pain and agony. Hope to get her back up on her feet, as now Janelle McKnight enters the final 100 meters with about 10 meters of cushion. And she'll have enough to hold this thing up entering the final stretch. Sabakan and Kent battling it out for 2nd, but there's the victory. 57 seconds for Janelle McKnight. 57.06 for the 8th grader from Speed Evolutions. All she needed was a 59 to get the national title. Janelle McKnight, as far as 8th graders go nationwide, already came in with a big chip on her shoulder. But now, with a 57.06, she is U.S. number 4 amongst 8th graders. Incredible. So in case you were expecting a little bit more time to be taken up by these middle school girls 400s, you were wrong. These girls went faster than we could have ever expected. We were aiming for this event to conclude by 10, make that 11:07, and we are nearly 15 minutes shy of that. So we're going to take a brief pause before our boys return for the middle school 400. When we return, get ready for some smoke because it is coming. You're watching Adidas Track Nationals live on Mile Split and FloTrack. And we are back right on schedule at the Adidas Track Nationals 2026. Carson Gambaro welcoming you back on Mile Split and FloTrack to the middle school boys 400-meter national championship. 19 sections to decide our winner. Our first heat is a field of 3. Savion Thompson of Hampton City in 1. Colby King of Panthers Elite in 2. And on the outside in 6 is Paxton Harlow of Endorphin Fitness. We already saw Paxton's sister Ellie Harlow win the 2-mile national elite title this morning. But so far it's Savion Thompson. Doesn't look like he is saving anything thus far as he comes in to the home straightaway, hitting just right around 28 flat to the opening 200. 28-14 for Savion Thompson. So a good tone-setting first lap in his long sprint that is the 400 meters. We saw a couple of our girls get beneath the 60-second barrier. What about our guys? So it looks like Savion's still on pace. Thompson from Hampton City, repping in the Hampton Roads area. He's going to be right at a minute flat. I think he might have broken it. Yes, he did. 59.94 for Savion Thompson. Colby King finishes in second, and now coming in for third, there's Paxton Harlow. But man, Savion Thompson off to a hot start here. Excited to see what that young man's going to show us in his career to come. As we move things forward to heat number 2. So 59.94 will be the time to beat for the remainder of our middle schoolers. In this section, a quick gun for Ethan Bagley in 2 from Riverdale Baptist. John Furr of Intensity Athletics in lane number 3. Keon Burton of Ace Elite in 4. And on the outside in 6 is Daniel D'Angeli. John Furr ran an absolutely unimaginable 800 yesterday. He was 100 shy of winning the national title from the slow heat. John Furr from Georgia dropped his PR in that event by over 12 seconds from 2:16 down to 2:04. Now, can he beat his 400-meter personal best of 56.21? He's still got 10 seconds to get to the line and only 50 meters of track remain in front of John Furr. 2 PRs on the weekend, 54 seconds for John Furr. 54.95. This kid has been going to the lab recently. He'll take the lead by 5 seconds, nearly full over D'Angeli. Just got the chance to speak to John Furr's coach out of Intensity Athletics. Just really proud of the work that he's been doing, nearly capturing the national title in the 800 and 400 wise. I think a 54 will put him in pretty darn good shape to place well here at Adidas. If we look at what it took to win this title last year for the middle school variety, it was a 51.65 by Chance Anderson. And a 54.95 would have been good enough for number 9 in the nation. So John Furr with a good run. Another good run here out of section number 3. That is Dylan Daniels of Kinston Spirits, a 28.77. Leads by nearly 3 seconds over Khalil Dawson of Patriot Elite. Followed by William Lamb, Chandler Dew, Leo Perman, and Dylan Lopchik from Endorphin Fitness. I think the key word there is followed by, as nobody's going to catch Dylan Daniels. He's going to come through 57.69 to take the win in heat number 3. Look at that flailing finish formed by Khalil Dawson. He was desperate to get to that finish line. And look at that comeback. Making up a little position change in the final lap was the 6th grader from Capital City Blazers, Chandler Dew, then Leo Perman, William Lamb, and Dylan Aklopchik. This time a double gun for section number 4. We're expecting this next series of events to last us up until around the 11:45 hour, where we will then transition to the 400 meters for freshman girls. Keep in mind, just like we saw yesterday with the 60s, it's going to be quite an extended period of the championship 400 meter races. Again, it's freshmen after middle schoolers, then national elite, and then the championship races will come once we approach the 3 o'clock hour. This time around, a field of 3 once again. Tamir Walton of Virginia Pride in 2, David Vance of Sayre Middle in 3, and Oliver Harlow, yet another Harlow sibling of Endorphin Fitness, in 4. We've already seen Ellie Harlow and Paxton Harlow. Oliver's gonna try and make this thing happen from the front. 29:59 is opening 200 meter split. Tamir Walton around a 1.5 seconds behind the exchange of laps, but he is making up plenty of ground on this second go around. The man from Virginia Pride has Harlow in his sights. Oliver Harlow and Tamir Walton battling down the straightaway. Tamir Walton, oh, I think Harlow just held him off. And Oliver Harlow does hold on by 0.06 of a second. You saw how close it was. 64:49 to 64:55. Nice run, boys. John Furr of Intensity Athletics still holds the lead at 54:95. 15 heats to go. We got Tyshawn Jeffrey of 301 Panthers, Jordan Sammy of Capital City Blazers, Dontrell Baskin of Explorers School, and one from the outside looks like Donovan Moses of Southern Sprinters Elite Track Club. He's in lane number 5 with some early work to do. It's the man in 3, Dontrell Baskin of Explorers. Right to the lead from North Carolina, going to cut in. Maybe not the smoothest path to the rail, but he gets there first either way, and he's got Tyshawn Jeffrey right on his coattail as they head around the first bend for the second time. Here they go onto the back straightaway. Tyshawn Jeffrey of the 301 Panthers has taken the lead. 301 Panthers joining us from Bowie, Maryland, and they've got the lead around the final turn in this 50 Middle School National 4x400 meter dash. Here we go, Tyshawn Jeffrey coming to the line, 62 high, and right at the line, a lunge for second. Donovan Moses just gets in there. He came from way off the pace to snag the second position there in 65:31. But Jeffrey in 62:71 will move into the number 5 position overall with his win in heat number 5. All right, here we go. Next section, section 6 is on the track. Middle school boys 400 rolls along. Once again, John Furr of Intensity Athletics was given the first heat in the 800, the second heat of 19 in the 400. And he has done nothing but take advantage of this fast track and its opportunity at Adidas. 54:95 is the time to beat, and Terrell Harrison with a 27 flat is going to try and hold this up, but he's running in lane 2. He's got to cut in. Terrell Harrison running extra distance, opening the door on the inside, and look who smells blood in the water. A look over right shoulder, but you can see him coming. Tristan Waterworth of Endorphin Fitness moving on the inside. He's into first, and the extra distance will come back to bite Terrell Harrison. He'll fall back to third as Joshua Teeter comes up for second. Waterworth in 57.80 takes the win by a 2.1. Hey, even if he fell back, Harrison in around 410 meters ran 59.07. I'd imagine by conversion he was in the low 58s. So a nice run regardless. We love to see a lot of the brotherhood and siblinghood in general when it comes to these middle school and varying age group races. Well, you remember John Furr? We've got his brother Charles Furr. His younger brother is in this heat out of lane number 2 for Intensity Athletics out of Evans, Georgia. But towards the outside, it looks like Ray Furman, who had a great run yesterday in his 60, is moving well to try and challenge for the lead with Mason Hopkins. A little slower on the first lap than the previous heat, but at 28:34. Let's see if anybody has the strength to break 60 on this go around. They're hitting the final 100 meters, still on pace. Almost equidistant to our top 4. It's Hopkins, Furman, Diego Bellandier Jr. of Total Athlete Track Club, and then Charles Furr. But going wire to wire, it's Mason Hopkins. And just breaking the minute barrier by 0.02 of a second, 59.98 for Mason Hopkins. Ray Furman just barely within a second of him at 60.90, and Diego Bellandier Jr. in 101.34 takes third. In heat number 8, we've got Joshua Potts, James Loke, Matthew Nicholson, Adrian Williams, Braylon Lewis, and Cameron Clark. Keep in mind, Joshua Potts in lane